and a heart full of regret.
My father knew poverty like a lover's smell, an intimate companion. A story from the well-worn pages of honest toil and never enough. And never enough is a slow way to die when your wife wants more and your son has a look in his eyes.
We leave because we would rather choose our own story. So we cross oceans, bellies bloated.
In November 2017, the world woke up to the news of migrants being sold as slaves in Libya. But this is not particularly new, but it did put a spotlight on an issue that is at once historical as it is urgent. And what we wanted to do with Finding Home was to examine the complexities of migration and what forces people to leave the relative comfort, of what they would otherwise call home, for a different geographical location, as it were.
We live because we have learned that things kill me faster than home. So when home becomes a mad song with broken guitar, and it feels like the entire universe is playing, let your fading footsteps become drum beats of victory, and let them say, he was a good man.
This is why we live.
I am the director of Finding Home. To see that the universal theme of movement, displacement, identity, and race is now given a plateau which not necessarily restricts itself to the geographical location of Nigeria. The piece finding its natural habitat in another place geographically, Europe, Berlin.
And I think the artistic collaboration between Germany and Nigeria, made possible by the Goethe Institute's International Collaboration Fund, was essential to drive in the story, because you have two countries that are somewhat in the heart of the modern day issue of migration. You have Germany being the country that has opened its borders and its doors, as it were, to thousands and thousands of migrants coming in from Europe, particularly from Syria, and also Nigeria, that also contributes a large number of migrants who were fleeing economic difficulties into Europe. You have artists who are basically familiar with this experience, and I think one of the responsibilities of artists to help us interpret society, reflect society, and also contribute in shaping a better future for ourselves. So it was a very interesting process, seeing how, irrespective of how different we are in terms of culture and background, how we all still share very similar human experiences.
This year I play a character called Adun, who is experiencing many different kinds of displacements in her life. And so she transitions from girlhood to womanhood and is dealing with the complexities of that, and being sort of hemmed in by ideas around what womanhood means, and marriage being held up as the pillar of accomplishment. And she falls in love with a person who is of a different race, and so she's navigating that experience as well. And then she ultimately leaves the country and is forced to confront the many different ways that home is not home. And I'm particularly interested in Adu's narrative because it's nothing like mine, but it gives me an opportunity to explore a world that is sort of foreign to me, but at the same time held together by this idea that ultimately we're all trying to find a place to call home.
Will be the wind beneath my sails that's trying to get me grounded.
Growing up, there are all these conflicts. From growing up as a person who doesn't look like the other people in school, but has the same education and has the same kind of the same life, but not really, because at home it's still Iran, and outside home it's something else. Not being able to talk to your parents the way you want to talk because you speak German.
Wir, das waren Partner von Lino, Nana und Geschwister, also im Kindergarten.
My own character takes the journey of a girl who leaves her home and has to go to a foreign land, but finds out that she goes there to become a prostitute. And unknown to maybe many of us, we say it like a joke, but it's actually this thing about girls going to Italy and Europe and everywhere else to become prostitutes is like an epidemic. And it's something that hopefully, while we are trying to tell these stories on stage, while we're trying to reveal layers to these characters that people might not know about, that it would maybe somehow enforce a social change and make people pay more attention to what is actually going on.
It was particularly interesting to see how the characters were brought to life through a fusion of poetry and theatre. And I think this was one of the most challenging and rewarding aspects of the production, seeing poets who primarily function as spoken word artists go out of their comfort zones to animate the narrative.
I played the role of a guy named Tokumbo, and basically he is trying to find the balance between having to embrace his achievement far away from home where he left in search of better opportunities, and reconciling that with the fact that it's from a place that needs the advancement that he is now enjoying, which has created a vacuum within him that resulted in some sort of unfulfillment.
My character in Finding Home this year is someone who has lost his home, as in a place, and in the process of finding it is radicalized, kind of. So it's all a question of losing your home. What does it make you do? How do you find a new one? How do you decide if you are truly home?
So Finding Home is a journey. We're scheduled to be in Cape Town, in Accra, in Nairobi, and in other different cities of the world, as the opportunities open up. We're also expanding the narrative, working with some of the local poets in each of the cities we go to, as they bring their own, experiences to bear as well. And we're particularly grateful to the Goethe Institute for their support on this project.